In this lesson, we're going to have a look at what integration with limits actually does. So let's start off by putting an example graph. So here's an example graph here, y equals f of x. I'll write that down. Y equals f of x. Now say I want to estimate the area shaded between that curve and the x-axis. What I could do is approximate the area using two rectangles as follows. But you see there that that's not a perfect approximation. There's a bit of a gap there. So my approximation will actually give extra area, leading to an overestimate. So how about if I try using more rectangles? So you can see that whilst not perfect still, there's a lot less area above the curve extra. So that's going to give a better estimate. And what we could do is keep using more and more rectangles, making that area smaller and smaller and smaller. But what actually happens when we use an infinite number of rectangles is that area now becomes exact. It's no longer an estimate. So when the rectangles become infinite in number and infinitely thin, that's when we get a true value for what the area between the curve and the x-axis actually is. And that is what integration does. Integration sums a number of infinitely thin rectangles between the two limits you set on the integral. So we have an infinite number of rectangles here that are infinitely thin, i.e. lines, if you like. And that's what integration does. Integration between the two limits will get us that area. And the way we write that in mathematical notation is the integral between two limits, let's call them b and a, of any function f of x dx equals the limit as delta x approaches 0 of the sum between x equals a and b of f of x times delta x. Let's explain what this means, because this is important notation that could come up in an exam. So the integral between two limits b and a. So in that diagram there, that's b and that's a. Forget about this limit as delta x approaches 0 for now. Let's look at f of x times delta x. Well, f of x is the height, and delta x is the width of a rectangle. So we're saying f of x multiplied by the width of the rectangle. And we're making these rectangles smaller and smaller and smaller to the point where they're infinitely thin, i.e. have width 0. So when we have an infinite number of rectangles that are infinitely thin, summing their areas is the integral. So an example of a question that uses this notation is one like this here. Calculate the limit as delta x approaches 0 of the sum between 2 and 3 of f of x delta x, where f of x equals x squared plus 2. Well, we know from what we've just learned that this notation means integration. That's actually asking us to sum all the infinite number of rectangles, infinitely thin, between 3 and 2 of x squared plus 2 with respect to x equals, well, let's integrate. Remember, it's add 1 to the power, divide by the new power, plus 2x between 3 and 2 equals 3 cubed over 3 plus 2 lots of 3, take 2 cubed over 3 plus 2 lots of 2, which is equal to, and let's put that in the calculator, 3 cubed over 3 plus 2 lots of 3, take all of 2 cubed over 3 plus 2 lots of 2, which is equal to 25 over 3. And there we have it, summing an infinite number of rectangles to get the area between a curve and the x-axis. So let's move on to a more practical rather than theoretical example now. And there it is there. Find the shaded area shown in the graph below of y equals a 10th x squared plus 1. Well, we know to find the area between two limits, i.e. as we saw before, to sum the infinite number of infinitely thin rectangles, we simply integrate between the two limits. So this one is the integral between 2 and 0 of a 10th x squared plus 1 with respect to x equals, okay, so adding 1 to the power divided by the new power, that becomes a 30th x cubed plus x between 2 and 0 equals 1/30th of 2 cubed plus 2. Take, and we can see that this is going to be 0, but we should always write take 0 to acknowledge that we've subbed the second limit in. I have seen in the past marks deducted for not writing take 0. So that's equal to, so 1/30th of 2 cubed plus 2, which is 34/15ths. That's the area between the two limits and under the curve. There are some complications though, instances where integrating won't necessarily get us the area. So to illustrate this, I'm going to do another example. This one here says the diagram below is y equals x cubed, and evaluate the integral between 1 and -1 of x cubed dx. So let's do that. So part A, the integral between 1 and -1 of x cubed dx equals x to the power of 4 over 4 between 1 and -1 equals, so we've got 1 to the 4 over 4, take -1 to the 4 over 4, and we don't need a calculator for that. It's just a quarter, take a quarter, which is 0. We can verify that on the calculator as well by doing the integral of x cubed between 1 and -1 equals 0. So part B, explain why the answer to A cannot be the shaded area. Well, clearly this is non-zero. We've got here and here, and the best way of explaining what's going on is focusing on this area here. Now notice that this area is under the x-axis. That means that if you think back to the summation that we did before, all of these rectangles, we're going to be multiplying the width by a negative number because the height is negative, meaning that this area here is actually going to have a negative value. Now it has exactly the same area as that, except it's negative. Therefore, when we add them together, when we sum all of these rectangles, it's going to sum to 0 because these ones are going to cancel out, if you like, these ones here. So the best way of wording that is the area under the x-axis contributes negatively to the integral meaning it will not equal the area. And calculate the shaded area. Well, what we need to do in this case, we need to calculate this area here, the positive area, calculate the negative area, and add their sizes together. Ignore the fact that this is negative. So let's do that. So we've got the integral between 1 and 0 of x cubed dx equals x to the 4 over 4 between 1 and 0 equals 1 to the 4 over 4, take away 0, which is a quarter. Then we've got the area between 0 and minus 1 of x cubed dx equals again x to the 4 over 4, but this time between 0 and minus 1. And on practical problems like this, I should point out that the upper limit is always the rightmost limit. So 1 is furthest to the right, so it's the upper limit. 0 is to the left, so it's the lower limit. But that restriction needn't be the case in an ordinary integral question that has nothing to do with areas. When we're talking areas though, the upper limit is always the biggest number. Equals, okay, 0 to the 4 over 4 minus 1 to the 4 over 4, which in this case equals minus a quarter. And we know negative areas don't exist. We need to make them positive, so therefore area equals 1/4 plus 1/4 equals 1/2. And there we have it, we found the area. So when you see an area under the axis, that must be integrated separately to the area above the axis. Let's have a look at another example that uses that fact. So calculate the area shaded below on the graph of y equals x plus 1, x plus 4, x minus 1. And we can see here that we need to calculate two separate areas because this area is under the axis. So we need to go between 1 and minus 1 and between minus 1 and minus 4. And to speed things up, I'm going to use the integration button on the calculator. And that's fair game because it doesn't say show full working, it doesn't say determine, it doesn't say show detailed reasoning. So we can take the easy way out here. So I'm still going to write the bare minimum working down though. So the integral between 1 and minus 1 of that is equal to, so the integral of x plus 1, x plus 4, x minus 1, between the lower limit was minus 1, the upper limit was 1, is equal to minus 16 over 3. Remember that's negative, so we're going to make it positive when considering it to be an area. And then minus 1 and minus 4 of the same thing equals 63 over 4. Therefore the area equals 63 over 4 plus 16 over 3, which is equal to 253 over 12. And there you have it, that's how to find the area between a curve and the x-axis when there are some parts of the area that are under the x-axis. So have a go at the worksheet, do all the examples,